Welcome to the Binoculars. My channel focuses solely on exposing lies and presenting the truth and standard perspectives to you. So I'm sure a lot of you guys heard what happened. Donald Trump was at the latest UFC event, and of course, we've seen that before. It's nothing really new or special. We've previously covered Trump at the UFC events. It used to be big news, especially during the election season, when Trump walks in the room to thunderous applause. But it's a little bit old at this point. I'm not sure if it's worth the front page headline anymore, considering it's happened so many times at this point. And so you may be questioning, well, then what's the point of this video? Why are we talking about Donald Trump at the UFC? Well, I'm glad you asked, and to be honest, that's exactly what I was fishing for, because something truly special happened at the latest UFC event that I think is the perfect visual representation of how much our political culture is changing from back in 2016 to present day. This is a topic I've been talking about for a while now, how this new conservative movement seems to be driving culture like never before. The story from this UFC event isn't Donald Trump walking into thunderous applause. It's what happened later on in the night. This is the headline. Let me show you guys exactly what's going on. We got some stuff to get into, so let's roll the tape. All right, folks. So, of course, Donald Trump just blew the roof off of Madison Square Garden at the latest UFC event. But as I just stated, if you've been paying attention, this shouldn't really be shocking to you. The man simply commands a reaction. When he walks in the room, he's automatically the center of attention. In a world where politicians struggle to connect with a handful of supporters, Trump steps into an arena with tens of thousands, the heart of New York City, a bastion of blue, and gets a standing ovation. He just has presence like no other. It's become a routine of Trump and his public appearances. Wherever he goes, the energy shifts. Like I was saying, let's not focus on what was expected. Let's focus on the unexpected. Because in the middle of all of that noise, something truly remarkable happened. John Jones, the reigning UFC heavyweight champion, later on in the night, handed over his championship belt to Donald Trump.
It is all about John Jones sharing the belt there with the president-elect Donald Trump.
That was a big moment. That's John frickin' Jones. And what you saw there wasn't just a regular handshake or photo op with the president or president-elect. That was a moment loaded with significance. A moment of deep respect, gratitude, a gesture of honor. Something you would have never expected to see back in 2016 when Democrats created this hyper-divisive, toxic environment that deemed no one was to show Donald Trump respect. It was just an incredible moment and it felt truly significant. That's John Jones, a man who fights for a living. And for him to symbolically pass the torch like that in a way, it was almost as if he was saying, you're a champion too. You've been in the ring and you're still standing. And that's exactly it. That's how I felt. Trump isn't just a fighter, he's become a symbol of fighting. Fight, fight, fight. A symbol that goes far beyond politics. Let's be absolutely clear here. When I say beyond politics, I'm talking culture. Trump is culture now. He's driving culture. The Democrats, the media elites, the cultural gatekeepers, they all tried to banish him. They thought they could turn him into a pariah, to cast him out of society as Donald the Exiled. They wanted him to disappear from what they deemed polite society, to be forgotten in the dustbin of history. But what they never understood, what they always completely underestimated, was the American spirit. They tried to break him, yet all they did was forge him into something even stronger. Donald Trump's been through the crucible, let's call it, and now he's impeccably strong Damascus steel. From the nonsense Russia narrative, or rather hoax, I should say, to the never-ending sham impeachments one after another, to their desperate attempts to pin January 6 on him as if he personally stormed the Capitol like friggin' Braveheart leading the cavalry. The entire political establishment and their media puppets tried every dirty trick in the book to stop him and destroy him. Non-stop hoax after hoax, deliberate fake news stories brought to you by the media's anonymous sources. And of course, when that wasn't enough, they threw 94 indictments at him, hoping something, anything, would stick. Oh, and how could I forget 2 failed assassination attempts, a real chilling reminder of just how high and big the stakes were. Donald Trump hadn't turned his head slightly to the right, American history would have been changed forever, but let's not even go down that path. The point is, through it all, what they really did, since Trump survived it all and stood up against it all, what they really ended up doing was turning him into a martyr, something I guess they never saw coming, which really shows you how naive and idiotic a certain group is, they turned him into a political martyr that people are rallying behind like never before. Trump has become the living embodiment of the American spirit. Every attack, every attempt to bury him, only drove him deeper into the hearts of the people. And the irony is rich. The very same people who tried to exile him from acceptable culture have turned him into a cultural phenomenon of our time. They wanted him banished, but instead they handed him the keys to our culture. And that's where the real battle is fought, friends. Because as we know, thanks to the incredible wisdom of Andrew Breitbart, politics is downstream from culture. I mean, just think about it. He who controls culture possesses real power. And for decades, the left has held the reins, dictating what's cool, what's acceptable, what's mainstream, and what's not. They controlled Hollywood, media, the music industry, the art world, academia. They were the gatekeepers of what you were allowed to think, feel, and express. But Trump, Donald J. Trump, 45th and 47th President of the United States, he shattered that mold. He bulldozed through their carefully crafted walls and forced his way into the cultural zeitgeist, not by begging for their approval, but by being unapologetically himself. And now it feels like the people have embraced him in a way that defies the media's narrative. Whether it's Trump at a NASCAR event, at a football game, at a UFC fight, or just a regular rally, I think it's pretty clear to people that Donald Trump has become a symbol of American greatness, American grit and toughness, and most importantly, unapologetic patriotism. He's the man who stood up and said, "I'll take the punches, I'll go through the fire because I love this country so much and I want to see it made great again." And obviously he's proved that to the people, and people respect it. They rally behind it. He's no longer just a candidate running for office. He's a cultural icon. He represents a movement, and that right there is something seriously hard to contend with. And it's clear that the Democrat elites have failed to understand that when you attempt to crush someone so relentlessly, to destroy them with everything you have, you end up inadvertently creating something even stronger in the process. They've essentially turned Donald Trump into a legend, and that's really what I think was symbolized in this moment. It feels like the cultural tide is turning, and it's turning fast. Trump isn't just a former president or a presidential candidate. He is a juggernaut. And the Democrats can keep throwing their attacks, but at this point it's only adding fuel to the fire. That's why we're seeing so many Dems condemn the anti-Trump hysteria these days. John Fetterman just the other day told his party outright, stop freaking out at everything that Donald Trump says or does. It's obvious that they've lost well beyond just the election. The election was a landslide, but I think their losses go well beyond just the Electoral College. In a way, it feels like we're moving towards a completely different political era. And like I always say a lot of the times how I end these videos, I'm just here for it. Anyways, that's pretty much what I got for you guys on this one. Hopefully you enjoyed the video. If you did, make sure to leave a like and possibly subscribe. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you on the next one. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button and share this channel with your friends. Stay tuned for more truth and insightful perspectives. Your support helps us grow and reach more people.